Hello and welcome to the Qatar Airways GKA Kite World Tour. 2023 promises to be a bumper season. The continued support of Qatar Airways and a clutch of young athletes hungrier than ever for glory suggests there are great things coming, as motivated as any of the reigning champions, who are keen to repeat their success, but mixed results in the opening rounds show that it will be no walk in the park. Michaeli Sol is a kiteboarding prodigy. At 18, she's one of the greatest kiteboarders the sport has ever seen. Already, Mika, as she's known, has 6 world titles to her name, 5 GKA Freestyle kite crowns and another in big air. Her coach, Fabio Ingrosso, has been the architect of her biggest wins. And this dream team often trains in Brazil's Taiba Lagoon. Sol made it her home after growing up on the Ceará coast of Brazil. Of late, Sol, a dual national with the Brazilian father and American mother, has put the US to the fore as she looks to the future and starts to shape the trajectory of an already stellar kiteboarding career.
To be a world champ in both disciplines, I can't necessarily say that one felt better than the other. I feel like for me it's more just an accomplishment. It's not really a feeling. It's just like, oh, okay, like I know for myself that I was able to accomplish that, and it's not really like a super stoked or not, like it's a neutral feeling for me at the moment. I think because I've won, not being like cocky or anything, but like because I've won so many titles, it's like the first one you do, it's always you get the most emotional, and then as the years goes on and as you win more, it kind of becomes like a normal thing for yourself, so you don't really know how to act or respond to it. It's very strange. I don't know how to describe it. It's just a feeling that of accomplishment, but not stoked, just like, okay, I know that I was able to do it, but I don't feel any like relief, it's more of like oh, okay, I was able to do that and I'm proud of myself. Just because I'm 18, I'm not moving out. I have my own apartment up on top of my parents' gym and everything, so I feel like this is still my home base, but I'm never really here, so I don't really consider anywhere home because I'm never there for a long enough period of time. My family is 100% to do with like where I am now. My mom and my dad, actually my whole family used to travel with me to comps. I started competing in juniors when I was 10, and from then on it just was like a cycle they brought me to. Even when I wasn't allowed to compete because of my age, I would still go to the places and do the trials, and like people started to know me by the time I was 12. They were like, oh, Mika this, Mika that, and I think that their support really helped me, especially with them and Fabio, which is now my coach, right? Everyone just supported me, and I don't think I could be here without them. I feel like what inspires me is when people are motivated to do what they want to do, but they actually follow through with it. Because a lot of people, they say like, oh, I'll do this, but then they never do it, and it's just a passing thought. But I like people who like say something and like take action and do it. Like you can be really, really good outside of comps and you can make everything, but the moment you get into a comp, you can break because it's your mindset. Like some people are just, it's not that competition isn't made for them, it's just they have a harder time zoning in and like knowing what they have to do. Even if they crash a few times, they know that they can come back up. Like some people in heats, like they'll miss the first 3 tricks and then they're like, oh, I don't know what to do, and they start freaking out. But I know, like for me, the way that I see it is like if I miss a few, I can always come back from it if I really want to. And I think that me pushing the sport is really helping other girls feel the need to do better. Because if nobody's pushing the sport, then there's no need to make it better. That's why the men's level is always constantly growing, because there's such a big pool of people trying new things and trying to expand their knowledge in the sport and like their abilities.
Yet, for the teenager, maintaining the drive needed to keep her on top when she's won almost everything the sport has to offer still seems a big challenge. But if Sol needed a reminder that she couldn't just phone it in, she got it at the tour's very first stop in Qatar. This unique desert location with its steady year-round breezes is a kiteboarder's dream. The pancake flat waters of the lagoon at the state-of-the-art Favourite Kite Beach Resort should have been right up her street. But the drama that unfolded over 4 days at the Visit Qatar GKA Freestyle Kite World Cup showed that she wouldn't have it all her own way. Rivals like Spain's Claudia Leon had fire in her eyes and steel in her heart. The Swede Natalie Lambrecht and three-time former world champion Bruna Kaggia were equally determined to give Sol a run for her money. First though, they had to make it through the semi-finals. Lambrecht led the charge, earning the day's highest heat score and a place in the final. She was followed by Kaggia in second, with the biggest trick score for a massive KGB. That ended the hopes of Therese Tabel and saw Rita Arnaus out of the competition with a knee injury. In the lighter winds that graced the second semi-final, Sol and Leon dominated. Leon took the win ahead of Sol, but both women were working the tricky breeze as well as they could to land their spots in the final. As the wind filled in, the action in the men's competition ramped up with the semi-finals. The riders were pushing the boundaries, the smooth waters ensuring a spectacular show. Valentin Rodriguez, the 2019 world champion, came out of the gate firing. The Colombian was clinical and focused and did all the damage with his first 4 tricks. He also understood the importance of the new scoring format, with the judges demanding tricks from 4 families. He ticked all the boxes, earned crucial points for variety and a place in the final. More than any rider, Luca Pito seemed alive to the potential of the new scoring format. He supercharged his heat score with combos and tricky toe-side takeoffs. He still managed smooth rotations and clean landings, and it helped him overhaul last year's championship runner-up, Manuel Suarez, and it earned him a finals berth. Brazil's Carlos Mario looked every inch the 4-time world champion that he is. At the start of the second semi-final, he fired off high-scoring tricks in quick succession and took an early lead. The second part of his heat was pockmarked with crashes, but his total was enough to earn him a spot in the finals. In contrast, Coccoluto only improved as the heat went on, adapting to the new scoring format with ease. He hit all the right notes, and like his heat, he seems to have improved with age. Since he won his first world title in November last year, the Italian has visibly grown in confidence. It showed in his stylish and precise performance that carried him into the final. The semi-finals really had been studded with high-octane action as the riders went for glory, pushing the boundaries and raising the bar of freestyle. The new judging format seemed to be doing its job, pushing the athletes out of their comfort zone in search of new highs. It was a mouth-watering appetizer for the main course, the finals showdown. All of those lucky enough to progress knew the stakes were high and tried to compose themselves. The women were first on the lagoon, a perfect freestyle arena. Michele Sol opened with some bangers, but she crashed one trick and fell behind. The teenager knew she had her work cut out if she was to get back on terms. She tried to pull the irons from the fire with a risky, high-scoring toe-side trick. but it didn't come off when the bar slipped from her grasp, and with it, the final. Bruna Kaggia was smooth and powered by comparison, barely missing a beat. The three-time world champion used all her competition experience to the full to build a healthy lead, and it was enough to give her an emotional win in Qatar, the 36-year-old's first in 2 years. The men's final was a high-powered affair, graced by no less than 3 world champions. Only Mauritius-based Luca Pito couldn't lay claim to the elite club membership, but it didn't seem to faze him. Even after a COVID-enforced 18-month layoff, he'd lost none of his explosive drive. Past champions Valentin Rodriguez and Carlos Mario pushed hard and went big, sometimes too big, and came unstuck in the pressure cooker of the final. Gianmaria Coccoluto rose to the occasion, stomping his trademark smooth landings on the biggest tricks. He absolutely pushed the limits, occasionally going beyond them in his quest to win, but his rivals didn't let up for a moment as they hunted him down. The reigning world champion didn't crack though. The Italian put his first win of the season in the bag, just squeezing out Mario and Pito. Less than 1 point separated the top 3 after the thriller in the desert. So Coccoluto in first, Carlos Mario in second, Luca Pito in third, and Valentin Rodriguez in fourth.
I was not expecting to go really good because without training, it's really hard. But at the end I came here, I know it's everything about mind because I know how to do trick. So I was really focused with my mindset, with the new format, so I was really confident. At the end, I managed to take the win.
I feel like I've been competing for a while and every win is different, and this one will definitely stay with me like forever, just because the path to get there was with so many challenges. It just made it so much more sweet.
Gianmaria Coccoluto, known to all as Coco, is the reigning GKA Freestyle Kite World Champion. At 29, the Italian is the oldest man on the tour. He clinched the title with a stunning, near-flawless performance on the Taiba Lagoon in Brazil last year. It's one of his favourite spots, and he trains there every winter. The victory was almost a homecoming. Lifting the coveted title for the first time was the realisation of Coccoluto's long-held dream. Now the driven Italian has a new dream, to make it 2 in succession. But his ultimate goal is to claim 3 world titles. Only then, he feels, will he have written his name in kiteboarding's history books.
Time because I started kiting when I was 18, almost 19, thanks to one of my best friends that he was a kiter, and he teach me. But everyone at the beginning said, you're already old, look, the world champion is 20, but he's already world champion, you're 19, you're starting now, you're doing water start, you can never make it. I was there and say, no, one day, I was watching all the video of Yuri Tsun and stuff, I would say, one day I will compete against them, I will beat everyone, I will be the best. It took me 2 months to tell my dad that I will change sport, and my dad was super angry. But I promised to my dad, we was having lunch, I said, Dad, don't worry, I will be the best in this sport. And he was not believing me because, hey, I show him some video of the other guy, I was say, look, they are 20, they are doing, this guy is 20, he's world champion, and you're starting now. How you can be the best? You're old. I said, Dad, don't worry, I will do it. And thanks to this, my friend that teach me kiting, we went to Sicily for holiday for 2 weeks, and I saw this spot, and I never back home from that holiday. From that day, I'm living in Sicily now since 11 years. I became professional kiteboarder in 2018. That duathlon kiteboarding take me in international team, and I was already trying to do few stops in the world tour, but I didn't have the budget and the money to do it. Well, before this event in Taiba, I was always doing my normal routine, you know? Like, I didn't change anything, because in the other competition, I was always change something, you know? Like, it's competition, so you have to go sleep early, or you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to stretch. And then I start to think, but why? That when I go train, I do super good, and I do all my routine, like, I don't know, wake up when I want, breakfast, no stretching, go in the lagoon, pump the kite, don't warm up and go in the water, and I perform super good. Why I need to change something? I always had a super strong mindset, because I tell you before, when I started kiting, I was already 19, and everyone was saying to me that I was never make it, like, I was never done my dream, you know. I was always saying, I will be world champion one day, I will be the best to my dad, to my friend, to all the people around me, and everyone, you're too old, you're too old. Everyone was always put me down, you know. Like, I always tell alone, like, you can do it, and I create my mindset alone, you know, and now I'm really strong. They can say everything, they can tell me wherever, I'm always go straight for my road.
The Italian got his title defence off to a flying start with the win in Qatar, but could he repeat the feat at the second stop in Colombia's Salinas del Rey? Brazil's Bruna Kaggia, fresh from her own emotional Qatar win, hoped she could do the same.
I'm really happy, obviously, with starting the year with a win, and more importantly, because I'm super happy with my riding. I think that's the key thing for me. So right now, all in my mind, I just want to go out there and show my style, show the tricks that I have, and just have a good time and enjoy the spot that has kickers. And I think that's something that sets it apart from the other ones. And I think do different new tricks in it.
The GKA Freestyle Kite World Cup was back in this sleepy backwater on Colombia's Caribbean coast for the second straight year. Its inshore kickers whipped up by strong trade winds, make it a freestyle kiteboarder's paradise. The world's best men and women freestylers love this place, which made its debut on the tour last year. They were all excited to get another chance to battle it out here. All freestyle kiteboarding's biggest names were on hand and ready to fight. Hordes of enthusiastic fans beat a path to Salinas del Rey to soak up the beach vibe and cheer their heroes. The women took to the water first, and with building breezes and growing ramps to boost off, the action intensified as the rounds wore on. But Michaeli Sol showed she meant business right from the off. Clinical and powered tricks instantly gave her the edge over her rivals. Next up were the men. The battles grew increasingly intense and spectacular as the wind started cranking. Dominican powerhouse Luis Alberto Cruz threw down some of the biggest tricks of the session. But the Brazilian former world champion Carlos Mario came out of the gate charging. The king of the handle pass was taking no prisoners as he fought his way up the ladder. Multi-talented Swiss rider Maxime Chablot was on fire as he advanced to the final. He booked his berth alongside world champion Gianmaria Coccolutto, who was pleased to progress.
Wind was lighter, condition was much better than yesterday, so I'm super stoked to go with Maxime in the final. Yes, let's give all.
I started off really with the goal of building a heat because it's really tough conditions and it's not easy to actually land 4 tricks with the new format and everything. So yeah, pretty stoked with it and ready for the final.
As the finals approached, the tension was palpable, and the growing crowds on Salinas del Rey's beach were pumped for the spectacle to come. The women's final showdown was a mouth-watering matchup, but Michaeli Sol showed her raw power, experience and technical brilliance, taking advantage of the punchy conditions to grab the win. Spain's Claudia Leon landed 4 huge scores, which included some brilliant combinations that impressed the judges to take second. Natalie Lambrecht took third, Bruna Kaggia fourth.
How must I feel? Like, I can't believe it. I think it's the first time I've been second. I had a first in Saudi Arabia, but this one feels super incredible because here last year I ended 5th. So now I don't have words.
I'm so stoked to be back on top, honestly. Conditions are really tough, but I managed to pull through, and yeah, I took the win here. And definitely feeling a little, I don't know what the word is, like a redemption almost, you know, from Qatar getting second to getting first here. It definitely does feel really nice being back on top. So yeah, I'm gonna try to continue doing this for the rest of the year, and yeah, just super stoked.
The 4-berth men's final was a clash of the big guns. A heady mix of power, grace and style. All the riders threw down like there was no tomorrow, trading blows as they racked up gigantic scores. But world champion Gianmaria Coccolutto found himself outgunned on the day. His hopes of a repeat win were dashed, and he found himself in third. That left the stage to Carlos Mario and Maxime Chablot. Chablot was stylish. His grabs and combos built good scores to the delight of his fans on the beach. Mario, however, was relentless and utterly ruthless in chasing the win. His powered handle pass rotations mixed with impressive variation were enough to land him victory. And he did it all in front of the ecstatic South American fans. I'm very happy. It's beyond words to win the competition here in Colombia. I remember being in Qatar and thinking it was a matter of time until being back on top. So I went back to Brazil and focused 100% on giving my best in Colombia.
I'm super stoked with the second place. Already making the final was a step better than last year, so I'm really happy with the result, and yeah, I can't wait for the next events.
All the competition was a bit sketchy for me for my neck injury, but today I was feel much better. Maxime and Carlos was riding really good, so they really deserve the first and second place. Yeah, super stoked. Now can't wait for the next stop.
So that's the first two events of the Qatar Airways GKA Kite World Tour 2023 in the books. It hasn't been all plain sailing for our current world champions, who still hope to defend their crowns. But there's a long season ahead, and it's still all to play for. It looks set fair for another stunning year of action on the GKA Freestyle Kite World Tour. Join us next time.